Hello again. My last video, I went over some of the child abuse that I went through. We went over the Stockholm syndrome effect, some of my mother's abuse, the insults, the racism, some of the things about the Christmas tree and being told to be independent at 8, things like that. But there's more. See, the thing is about having a mother who is a narcissist and most likely psychopath as well, is that they're not like the loving kind of mother that you would imagine most moms would be. You know, when Mother's Day comes around, you want to get her a present, because she's your mom. When Mother's Day comes around for me, it's a time to be very sad. And it's a reminder that I don't have one, like some people do. And it's also a reminder that I will never be good enough for her. And I made peace with that a while back. You just have to. Because nothing you ever do will be good enough. I learned that, and I accepted it. Because I was accomplished. There were things that I did do, but it never made her happy. And I learned a long time ago that in this life, you have to make yourself happy. And stop trying to reach other people's goals and expectations of you. You do the best that you can. Push yourself, yes. But don't let other people push you to the point where you can't do it. Everybody has a limit. But here we go. My mother also neglected to teach me several things. She neglected to teach me basic hygiene. I had to learn that on my own. Up until I was 12, she never taught me anything about shaving, deodorant, brushing my teeth was talked about, but when it comes to keeping your tongue clean, that was never discussed. I was told, leave it alone. Don't touch your tongue. That was it. And when my period came around, I had to pretend I didn't have it around my father, because he would react very badly. Apparently it disturbed him, and he didn't like to see the blood, and I'm sorry, but to me that's just a misinformed person that really should grow up a little, because that's part of life. Women have their period. We can't control it. It's not, and it's certainly not a luxury to have period pads and things like that. So anybody that tells you that it's a luxury, she never taught me anything about beauty. So, I was never allowed to do my hair. I was never allowed to wear makeup. I couldn't do anything to make myself look pretty or feel pretty. Nothing. And then, of course, we come to sexuality, which I knew nothing. When you go to my school, the class sex ed in West Texas was a banana, a condom, and usually they insisted on chastity, which is all well and good, but if you don't educate your students and tell them what these things are, what particular body parts are, what they're capable of, what can happen if you have sex, what can happen if you don't use a condom. Basic biological functions would have been nice to have been covered, but they weren't. So that was another thing which I was lacking in. Also, the ability to communicate with others clearly, socializing. I lacked all of it because, I was kept indoors. Wasn't allowed to socialize with anybody unless they were white, which is just stupid. Also, another thing, when I was growing up, if I was watching television, I was not allowed to watch Sesame Street because there were black people on it. I wasn't allowed to watch any TV show that had black people in it, which really made my choices slim to none. Although it didn't stop me from watching whatever channel I wanted when they weren't home. I watched whatever I wanted because I really could care less about their restrictions as far as skin color goes. It just... So, that was just a bit much to me. You're not allowed to watch any TV with a black person in it. Okay. Another horrific thing that she told me, my mother, was that when she was pregnant with me and giving birth, they'd gone through quite an ordeal, but at that time they stamped my foot at the Naval Hospital where I was born instead of your fingers or your hands. It was a foot. I'm not sure if that's just procedure. I don't know. But that's something that they did. And upon returning me to her, unfortunately, the person who brought her to me, or brought me to her, was a really lovely black lady. A really nice nurse, apparently. And my mother said the most horrible thing. She said hold on, what was it? My baby is not a Nigger baby. And told them to put me back. I mean, I'm sorry, but my logic tells me that if there's a mother that says something like that, why would you give her a child anyway? She's a flaming racist. Horrible racist. And she has no social skills. She attacks people around her verbally, but oh yes, please, let's give her a child. I really think that there were plenty of warning signs around. Anybody that met my mother, from what I gather, weren't too keen on her, found her overly aggressive, very off-putting. And the last time I checked, she almost got into a fist fight with somebody at a restaurant that she worked in, which obviously is not professional. But yeah, she didn't get along with a lot of people, and she was extremely rude and horrible to people. But this is really tip of the iceberg, honestly, because my father's side of the family, I met them when I was 16 once for a very short time when my grandfather died. And then the next time I met them, it was for a much longer period of time. And there was a time when I was in the car with one of my aunts, and she was smoking weed while she was driving, high on carpal tunnel pain medication, and think drinking, telling me, here's the irony, explaining to me about being a moral, upstanding citizen. I'm just going to blink at you for a bit. And then the other thing that also galled me was she was very racist as well. And she would always look at me and say, "You really need a tan." What? It made no sense to me whatsoever. My cat has decided to come say hello. You might see her from time to time. That's her tail. We rescued her. She likes to be the center of attention.